Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next episode of Spotlight on Success, where my goal is to provide you tips and strategies to help you sharpen your competitive edge in business. And I am able to do that with our wonderful guest experts who we bring on each week. And today I am so excited to share with you the topic, how to become locally famous, with guest expert Dottie Scott. So before we jump right in, please let me give Dottie a proper introduction and give you a little information about her. Dottie Scott is owner of Premium Websites LLC and is a web designer, social media expert, speaker, and trainer. She is entering her 5th year of business. Congratulations, that's exciting. And she has expanded every year with over 77% growth in 2010 alone. So that is phenomenal, Dottie. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here.
Well, this is a great topic, and I know that I'm very interested in it simply for the fact that I have spent the past 3 years really focused on building my online presence. And it wasn't intentionally at the exclusion of creating a local presence for myself, but I have come to see in the last 6 months how important that is as well and how much value there is. And so I'm really excited that you are bringing this topic to the table. So let's jump right in. And if you could explain for those of us who might not know what it means to become locally famous and how is that powerful in business?
Sure. What I personally mean when I say locally famous is to become the person in your local community to be known to go to when you need whatever it is that you do. So if you're out and about talking to somebody and you come across a need for a certain thing, you instantly know, oh, this person can help you. And that's how it helps grow your business. So essentially how this works for me is I do a ton of in-person networking, even though I'm an online business, really. I build websites. And I will hear people saying, you know, so-and-so over there said they needed a website. And I immediately thought of you because of all the stuff that you are always in our face with and you're always doing. So I know it works.
That's fantastic. So you've already laid the foundation for somebody to have a natural ability to recommend you based on how you've educated them.
Exactly.
Okay. And I love, Dottie, that you brought that point up that, you know, you do a lot of work on that's, you know, in the virtual realm, and yet you are spending and allocating specific time to building your network on the local level. And
that is correct.
Was that something that you did right off the bat, or is that something that you have evolved into?
You know, it was something that I did immediately, and the reason for that, which this might be kind of backward thinking, but when I started my business, I started in a town that I did not grow up in, and I did not have any real business contacts. And even though I have an online business, I realized that people do business with people they know and trust, and it's 20 times harder to build trust online as it is in person. So yeah, I consciously went out and met people in person.
That's an excellent point, because that is true for any of us who have tried to build trust online. It is harder. There is a much steeper curve than that face-to-face interaction, even in the age of things like Skype, where you can, you know, see people and talk to them via the computer. It's still different than that warmth that comes across in that face-to-face.
Right.
When it comes to becoming locally famous and really focusing on building that local presence, is that the same thing? Are we talking about the same thing as personal branding?
You know, they fall hand in hand, but I think I take it one more step because personal branding is done a lot online. And it can be done in person. For example, when somebody meets me, they know me for purple. I wear purple. All my websites are purple. You know, that is like my thing. And it works really well because people will come up to me and they'll say, you know what, I met so-and-so and she was wearing purple and all I can think of was you.
Oh,
So, so something as simple as having a signature color can be what I would consider personal branding. But as far as becoming famous, and you know, you can use that word liberally. I'm not talking about becoming a Brad Pitt or anything like that, but to be the person that's top of mind when they meet somebody that needs your services, that's my definition of famous. I'm actually what I would call an introvert. And when I go into a room of people, it is my tendency to want to stand in a corner and observe and hide. But because of all the things that I've done to become famous, people come up to me and they start talking to me, and I don't even know who they are, which can be kind of disconcerting at first because, who is this person? However, it's so much easier to build that trust when they already know a lot about you, and it really makes networking a cinch.
Mm-hmm. You already have the ball rolling in the conversation without even realizing it.
Exactly. And they're already asking you all the questions that you want to answer.
Love it. Love it. So if somebody's business has that strong online presence, like mine, for example, how does building that local presence continue to add value above and beyond, I guess, being top of mind for those who are around you and those who know about you? What are some of the other benefits that come out of that?
The biggest benefit is clients. Mm-hmm. They know who to refer because you're not always talking to somebody that needs your services, but you get lots more referrals that way. And, some of the things that I've done, like the biggest thing that I've done to become locally famous is really two things. Networking, which I mentioned, and sending out a video tip each month or each week. I do a weekly 1-minute tip on something online to do with building your business online. And what I have found is that people watch those tips, they save them, they pass them around, and when they see me in person, they're like, "Oh my God, you look just like you do on camera." And it really has really helped me build a huge local presence, which is starting to spread out beyond my local area.
That's wonderful. So the people to whom you're sending the videos tend to be in your local arena who have signed up for your list. Is that how that worked?
For the most part, they are people that I meet when I'm out speaking or networking at a group. I will register them through my website, but there also are, you register through my website to get the tips. So there are people that find my website and register on their own, but the vast majority are people that I have actually met and spoken with.
I love it. And so you're already one step ahead of the game for those who are just online because you've already crossed over that initial threshold of the meet and greet and get to know.
Exactly. And it's the building the trust. I got an email the other day from a lady who's not even a client of mine yet. I didn't build her website, but she keeps getting approached with different options on optimization and all this other stuff. She sends me an email. She goes, "You know what? You're the only person in this industry that I trust. And so, here's my questions." And I called her back. She's now a client. But I built that trust first, basically through this video tip.
You got to love that.
Yeah, it's working.
And I think as entrepreneurs, especially solo entrepreneurs, it is so important to get out and about because it's too easy to just become a hermit and, stay hunkered down in your little at-home office or your, remote office in the situation where you don't have clients coming to see you face-to-face all the time. It's really easy to feel isolated. And so pushing yourself outside your comfort zone, which you've done, speaking of having introvert tendencies, I do as well. I mean, the thing that I hate the most is walking into a room full of people I do not know.
But wouldn't it be great if 2 or 3 came up to you like they knew you?
Yes, absolutely. That's a natural icebreaker for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And it works beautifully.
Gets you outside of your own head, too.
It does.
I love that. So, Daddy, let's talk about some of your very specific strategies that women can use to become locally famous. You talked about networking, and you talked about the tips that you're sending out in your newsletter. What else would you suggest that we try to do?
There's a lot of things that you can do. I really have only done 3. Okay. I've done networking, and I started with chamber and local business networking groups, meetup groups, stuff like that. I do the video tips, and the other thing that I've gotten into is speaking at networking groups.
Okay.
So other business groups, associations, that type of thing. And I'll speak on, it could be a social media topic, just something to do with online generally, something general enough that everybody would be interested in. And that's how I've really grown my video tip list, is by doing these speaking events. And it could be anywhere from 5 people to 20 people. So I'm not talking about a huge room of people. So it's not as scary as just thinking about that might seem. The
Right.
first few times was, but you get used to it.
Right.
So those are the 3 things that I personally have done. Things that I plan on adding to my list possibly this year is getting on like Blog Talk Radio, that type of thing, running my own radio show type thing. Other ideas that I've had is I've got a friend here that's a chiropractor or a naturopath, and he has a once a month segment on the local morning news type thing. So it works perfect for him. I mentioned the email marketing. I do video tips instead of email marketing, but just staying in front of your existing clients goes a long way towards becoming locally famous.
I love that. And I love that you pointed out, getting out there and speaking, because I think that for a lot of women entrepreneurs, especially those starting out, when they think of becoming a speaker, they think, oh my gosh, I've got to be famous already before anybody's going to be interested in what I have to say. And yet we all have so much value to offer. And so it's a matter of putting together your signature talk with, very specific points, rehearsing that over and over until you feel very confident in giving it, and then actually putting yourself out there and letting people know that you are available, whether it's a small group of 5 to 10 at a SCORE event, your local SCORE chapter, or, getting in front if you've got National Association of Women Business Owners, and letting them know that you're available to speak as well. Because, again, organizations like that, the Chamber of Commerce, as you know, and you could probably list off a million more, are always looking for speakers.
Even just going out on Meetup and looking at the different meetups that are in your interest area, they're also always looking for speakers. And the other thing I want to say about that is you don't have to be a polished speaker. I've never taken speaking classes. I've made every mistake in the book.
Me too.
And generally the people don't care because they are there to learn whatever you're talking about. They don't really care if you're polished or not. And they don't care if you're funny, if you're entertaining, and it's usually 10 or 15 minutes. So, it's not like this keynote speaker thing,
right.
So it's not, if you break it down into what it really is, it's not nearly as intimidating as we think it is in our head.
Right, and it doesn't have to have this huge PowerPoint presentation.
No. In fact, it's easier if you have no technology at all.
I agree. I did a very low-tech workshop last night, and it's actually refreshing not to have to worry about all those moving parts. So
yeah, and it works better.
It does. Well, Dottie, this has been tremendously helpful, valuable information that you have provided my audience, and I'm so excited that we had you on today to really talk about some steps that we can all begin implementing immediately, little easy steps to leverage our local markets and become locally famous. And I know that our viewers are probably wondering where they can go to find out more about you, and certainly how they can get their hands on your video tips that you offer every week. So where can they go?
Sure, they can go to my main website, which is premiumwebsites.net, and right there on the homepage in the sidebar is a simple sign-up form for the video tips. And the other place that they can find me, I have a training website online, and that's called AskDottie.com.
I love it. Nice and simple, easy to remember.
That's the way I love things.
What do I have to do? I have a question. Ask Dottie.
There you go.
Perfect. Well, Dottie, thank you so much for taking the time to share your wisdom and insights with us today in the marketing realm the local marketing realm. And I really appreciate your time. And for all of you who are watching, we hope that you will stay tuned for our next episode of Spotlight on Success, where we will continue to bring you valuable tips and strategies you can implement right away in your business. And until then, I encourage you to get out there and shine brightly.